All right, we are here. We are live. Let's make sure we can get everybody audible. Oh man, oh shoot, I cut off the last little bit of the intro. I was early. Dang it. Okay, well, there's screw up number 1 for episode 1, and I am Dave. Hello there. Often go by DM Dave, but I'm not DMing tonight. I am the producer for Joe, who is our DM in this game, DM Snack King. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself.
Welcome, everyone. Greetings, salutations to all of our friends, fans, viewers, and voyeurs. I am DM Snack King for your Sunday night viewing pleasures. And we're here to have a super fun, great game. If you see Snack King anywhere on the internet, that's probably me. So drop a link, drop a wave, drop an emote, say hi, say how you doing. I know my MMO group is currently looking at a new MMO, so if that's your thing, check me out. But this isn't really about me. This is about the players who get to experience all of the hard work I've done to create this. It's not hard work. I daydream a lot. It's been super easy. I love DMing. But I want to quickly pass it on to my group because without them, this wouldn't be possible. So I am forever thankful to them. And normally we go straight down Discord, but I'm feeling frisky tonight. So, Zash, why don't you go first?
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you, DM. My name's Mitch. I'm going to be playing Zasha Beesons, our 6'5" Dragonborn cleric. If you were to look at Zasha, he's a amethyst Dragonborn, purple skin, purple scales, rather tall, chainmail, and distinctive features. If you catch him on his break, see him smoking a cigarette, you're going to see a little bit of smoke popping out of scars on the right side of his face. But yeah, other than that, my interest in D&D has been for quite a while. Started off mainly with shows. I've now played in also a game with DM Dave, who's now going to be playing Severin. And yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you very much.
All right, excellent. And next, let's hop over to my DM on Thursday afternoons. And the reason I'm here tonight, Dave.
All right, yes, I am Dave. I know I gave myself a brief little intro in the beginning, but a couple things I want to say before we get started tonight. Once again, I am Dave, and I am the co-owner of Sputter Media. My partner in crime, Mark, and I created this little company, and we are proud to be introducing our second show. So we're really, really excited. And the first episode of this show just happens to be on Father's Day, and we got a couple of fathers here on the cast, myself and Mitch. So let's give a shout out to our dads, and I actually got my kids here. Come do a shout out for you guys. I got them here with me in the living room. We are a D&D family. Come on, kids, say something.
Okay. Hello there. I didn't plan a script or something. You expect me to just come over here?
It's D&D. You got to improvise.
We've been kidnapped.
I don't even think they heard that. It might not have the impact but you have to say it into the mic.
We have been kidnapped to be used as monetization.
Oh, okay. So, my very anti-capitalist daughter. Don't pop my mic. Don't tap it. Don't do it again. All right. So that's fun with kids, but also Mitch. So shout out to you, other dad in the group. You got anything to say about the Father's Day stuff? You want to have your kids say anything, shout out or anything?
I'm just gonna wallow away.
Oh, my kids are already getting ready to be laying down and everything there, buddy. So,
all right. Well, I just wanted to give you the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. And shout out to the fathers of the world. Shout out to the ones that are out here. Love them all. Thank you very much.
All right. Continue, please, Joe. Oh, wait. I didn't even talk about me.
Talk about your character. Yeah, talk about your
I
character.
didn't even talk about my character. Yeah. So I'm playing the character. I was more focused on the kids. So,
All right, thanks for being a dad.
Very in character for Severin.
I mean, right? He doesn't talk about himself a lot, right? It's very opposite of me. I'm playing Severin, a monk of Ilmater, who believes that there is a finite amount of pain and suffering in the universe, and the more of it that he takes on for himself, the less exists for others in the cosmos. So he is a religious masochist. And that's it. That's about it. That's Severin. At least that's all you get to know for now.
All right.
There might be
Excellent.
some dun-dun-duns in the future.
Let's jump over to Clover.
Hello, everybody. I'm Emily. I'm playing Clover, the team's sprite artificer. In the real world, I've been playing RPGs since about November. Dave got me into it, and I've been very addicted ever since. This is just me getting my fix. And yeah, I've enjoyed this, and I'm also in the Tuesday Cyber Night stream. So I enjoy all the RPGs. You can find me on Instagram at Kitman66 for gardening and art. And Clover. So to tell you more about Clover, she's a sprite artificer trying to become a tattoo artist. It's a homebrew subclass that Joe is very kindly letting me use. And she's 2'3", just to help imagine how she stands in the party of very tall people. But, she's ready to hold her own, and, she's fun and fey, and I'm really, really excited to explore Joe's world with her.
I am going to totally missize you multiple times throughout the campaign, so I will apologize now and then apologize again later. Our first test session, I was like, yeah, she's like the size of like less than a pencil. She's like, I thought I was 2 foot. I'm like, we should probably talk about that.
The floating.
I even made a diagram. I put.
Yes, the diagram very much helped because I need to see things visually. But with that, we're gonna jump over to Lucian.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Eric, playing Lucian. Lucian is what he might consider a ethical criminal. When the town guard and all the lords and ladies doing their best to further the agendas that benefit the whole, then I'm quite happy to just, live and let live. But when there's corruption, well, let's just say that my proficiencies in stealth, theft, and my silver tongue is bound to get me where I need to be. And yeah, beyond that, I'm just gonna, do the most damage to the people that would do the most good. Very Robin Hood type.
Excellent. A little bit about yourself. Yes, no?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Nagatsu_Seiken. I'm not really active on any social media. I'm frankly too busy with various D&D and cyberpunk campaigns, which I fell in love with probably 10 years ago when one of my 6 brothers kindly volunteered to DM for us. But, life happens, and that campaign has been on hiatus for about 4 years now. And, but, I got that itch, and Dave and I have been friends on Facebook for quite a few years now, and saw a random post of his that he was looking for people for campaigns. So I reached out, and here I am.
I did go on some massive casting recruiting sprees to try and get excellent talent for this. So I'm really, really glad to have all of you joining the Sputter Media family. I do want to give a quick shout out to Epic Sackman in the chat, who was playing Smokey, but life happens, and he's not going to be able to continue with us on the cast. But he is still forever in our hearts, and don't even think for a second that you didn't help us get here, even if you're not here with us right now. So I think that's everybody. Joe, you ready to dive into this shit?
Well, I
not
mean,
quite.
you're skipping somebody, so
Did I
wanna
skip
pause you
somebody
there,
again?
I'm that person.
Yeah.
Did I skip
yeah.
somebody again? Oh my god.
All right, that's a -1 to Dave for skipping.
You know what? I
It's
take it.
it's
I take it.
okay. I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation because I told you I would. Zathrael?
That'll work. What's going on, everybody? My name's Ryan. I will be playing Zathariel Brightsong. It's our
Zathariel.
our
God
troop's
damn it.
resident College of Eloquence bard. A little bit about me. This is actually the first D&D campaign I've ever fully been a part of. My friends and I had grown up always attempted that side of thing, attempted to do a campaign, but nobody had the commitment. So I'm very glad to be a part of this and amongst people who are really committed to making it happen. You can find me on Twitter and then Instagram at Kundalini Pasta, or on multiple games as either Rai Pasta or Ryan Pasta. Pretty much any combination of the words Ryan Pasta in a video game is probably going to be me. A little bit about Zathariel. He is a half elf, a half wood elf, half human bard. He is the son of I don't want to say too much, but my father was also a bard. We'll put it that way. Zathariel's father was also a renowned bard. Oh, Ryan needs to be louder. I'll turn up.
Just real quick. I just turned you up on my end. So yeah, do it
Okay,
real quick before you adjust
Testing.
anything. Just try it again and see how it sounds.
Maybe a little bit better, chat.
A
Hopefully.
little bit.
I'll turn my gain up just a little bit and see if that can help. But yeah, Zathariel is very much so like a bard and performer, aspiring kind of informant, information gatherer. He's very low key, very behind the scenes, ironically, because a lot of the times he ends up center stage. But that kind of push and pull of power is something that really has always fascinated the character, and it's something that I really want to explore with him. So that's about all I feel like I need to say about it. We'll see how it fleshes out. Joe has been an awesome DM so far in helping me kind of build that slightly homebrew, a little bit of mythos into the characters. So we'll see how things go. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, guys.
All right, excellent. And now, Dave, we're ready to begin. If you'd like to go into whatever you're going into.
I was not going into anything other than asking you to take us away into the story, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you wanted to do our plug, or you want to do it
well,
at
yeah,
that
no,
point.
you know what? Fair point. We have not plugged Dubby yet today, who is our corporate sponsor. And if you go ahead and use the link that I'm going to pop into chat right now, or just dubby.gg for those who might be listening to us audio only and not live for the chat. And then use the code PURPLENURPLE on checkout for 10% off of your order. And I will get that into the chat in just a few for y'all. Continue, Joe.
I popped the link in because
you did, because you're high speed, low drag. That's right.
Yes, I have probably had about a scoop and a half of Dubby today, amongst other things, due to setting records at work today. But yes, let us talk about the Dawn of Alderton, which fortunately doesn't even begin in Alderton. It begins in Aelorim. The city of Aelorim is a old city. It's been within the world for 150, 160 years or so, starting at the base with a stone keep, which has been expanded upon and built around. There are various degrees of walls, and as the city has grown and stretched and spread itself, you can see the different styles and the different years, the further or the closer to the center you get, depending on where you're from. Our stage in Aelorim begins 10 years ago with a coup to the old king. Old Aelorim, as we will refer to him as, was a cruel and vicious, bitter human man that decided that if you weren't his kin or his kind, you needed to be banished. And he set upon himself on a bloody path, scattering the non-human races to the corners and the outskirts of our continent of Aelorim, and moving as many of the humans into his city as he could. 10 years ago, on a fateful night, his sons turned against him, and there was a showdown within the keep of Aelorim. And from that, his son Titus, Aelorim, stepped forward and became king. Titus has spent the last 10 years viciously climbing against all of the evil his father stood for. Very much so, he has made an incentive program that if you're not human and you want to come live in Aelorim, there's tax incentives, there's incentives for building businesses and just existing within the city. And he has gone so far in the opposite end of his father that he has created a wave within his own continent, his own world, that has set our story on its path. Very much so, we find ourselves in Aelorim, and it is about 36 hours before the Festival of the Maiden is to begin. Titus has decided that he will marry off his daughter to a suitor that will be determined through the festival, and he is hoping to unite the races in a wave of peace and tranquility. Very much so, he has given certain cities and families sovereignty to govern and rule themselves. The once unified continent of Aelorim is now divided by several different governing factions, that their allegiances and how they play into the world is still yet to be determined, because this is all relatively new within the last year or two. But with that, we will take ourselves to our player Clover, who has been within Aelorim for a couple days. Clover, you came when you heard news of the festival because you thought this is a great place to really start to make your mark. If there's going to be this is the happenings of a lifetime for probably generations. Everyone who has the ability to come here is coming here. And very much so, you had arranged a very unique situation for yourself. There is a innkeeper within the city of Aelorim that has decided to let you stay here upon promise that you will give him a very cool tattoo. That's all he's asked of you, and he's given you no details. And we find yourself behind the bar in the cupboards behind it, where the the good stuff is kept. There's a small little hidey hole that is perfectly sized for a 2-foot fairy to live and stay in. It's not as huge as the other rooms, but it gives you enough room where you can express yourselves, work on your drawings and whatnot. What are you currently doing?
I love it. I think currently I might be making.
I would say it's about midday, so
Okay.
so that's where you're at.
Actually, maybe it's a good time to go for a walk, maybe, or at least get out in the bar and see who's around.
Absolutely. Give me the first roll of the game. Give me a perception check.
Oh.
At this time, I want to apologize in advance to our audience for reasons beyond my control. Rolls will not be visible tonight. You're just going to have to take our word for it.
Okay, 14.
14. Excellent. It is, as I said, midday, 36 hours until the start of the festival. The town is starting to fill, but and very much so, the town is waited and bated breath, because in the next 12 hours, everyone's going to get here. Everyone just kind of timed it to get there the day before because there's a lot of announcements that are going to happen. There's a lot going on, and there's a chance. The rumor is a chance that even some of the common folk might get a chance to try and become the princess's betrothed. But with a 14, you notice that the bar is unusually empty for midnight. Typically, you've got your drunkards that have been there since the morning. You've got your afternoon crew, but there's 5, 6 people maximum in the bar, and then they're all the typical drunks you've learned and names you've learned over the last few days.
Can I go up and talk to the barkeeper?
Absolutely. So there is the barkeeper, and then there's also his wife. Osler Grundlegut is the barkeep, owner of this establishment, the Welcome Wench, and there is his wife, Vesta. You wanted to speak with Osler, correct?
Yes, please.
Excellent.
Hey, Osler, I've noticed it's a little quiet around here. Is there something going on in town?
Oh, well, Lassie, wouldn't you believe it? There's all sorts of business going around town. The carnival's still being arised. What is that dear lady's name? See, the cleric. You've heard of her, right? She's eyes, ears, a mouth. I think two noses, something like that. She's setting up a tent city outside of the city wall so that everyone who can't find a place to stay can have a comfy spot to stay outside of the elements.
Oh, that's very nice of her. I guess not everyone's lucky enough like me to have a small spot to hide away.
Fimo Goodwill. Yes, sorry. I wasn't listening at all. I was trying to remember her name. She's this little halfling cleric lady. I'm so sorry, Clover. I've just all the adventuring and boozing gets to your brain sometimes.
I understand.
Could you please repeat yourself?
Oh, just saying that thanking you for the news, and that was very nice of her to have a place for everyone to stay. Not everyone's so lucky like me to have a little hidey hole.
Oh well, you still gotta give me that tattoo. What have you drawn up today? Let me see your sketches.
I show him a couple of my sketches. I say, but I've really been meaning to talk to you about what you're looking for. Do you have any inspiration? Do you have a lovely wife there? We could do something about her, or do you have, a familiar, or what do you like?
If there was any being in existence that could duplicate my lovely wife, I would slay them so they couldn't. There's a mug in front of him, but you don't know when it got there. It's definitely full of beer, and he sloshes it down in one gulp. This reminds me of an adventure I went on one time. We were in the Underdark, me and my crew. I've spoken of them multiple times. Him and her and they and them and all of them about. There was this. If there was anyone in the world that could rival my Vesta's beauty, was this Doral priestess. She had this remarkable tattoo upon her face that was this spider that was spinning this web, and it was so very cool, but very much her and very much not me. So I hope that helps with your decision making.
Okay, not a spider. That was so incredibly.
Well, I didn't say not a spider, but maybe not a spider.
Not a spider. I got you.
Exactly, of course.
Yeah. I'm so glad we're on the same page. It's been so lovely to meet you.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Did you eat meat, right? Am I feeding you the right food? I keep forgetting. It's so few fairies I meet that when I do, it's I had a bad experience with some fae one time, and you've been easy to turn my likings.
I'm glad to hear that, and yes, I can eat meat, I can eat bread, vegetables, whatever you have available.
All right, excellent. And this tiny little plate literally appears in front of you with like a little portion of meat and some veggies and a tiny little individual roll that you can tell he actually made separately amongst the other large ones he normally serves. He's beaming with pride as he looks at it and smiles at you. Oh, you're hungry, right?
This is wonderful. Thank you so much. And I guess
Excellent.
I sit down to my meal.
He begins to rattle off about one of his other adventures, as he normally does. He doesn't really. You've noticed that he talks to people, but he doesn't listen to anything anyone says. He's just constantly like, "Oh, well, this one time I was on this adventure, and let me tell you about the gold of Gilgabor and things of that nature." And they're great stories, but you don't. At this point, you don't know if he's telling the truth. You don't know if he's bullshitting. You don't know if he's embellishing or misremembering. But all in all, it's always a wonderful and great adventure. But while you're talking to the innkeep, let's move over to Zasha, who is currently on patrol. The city itself has kind of been divided into certain districts. There's obviously, the wealthy district where, those that have the most money stay. There's the human district, and then they've had, in the last couple of years, due to Titus's, resurgence of non-humans into the kingdom, an area for the, non-human races. And Zasha being from Cloudspire, the capital of where most of the non-humans are from, as a state guard, then you've been brought in here to Aelorim to help with the festival, basically, because there's so many people, they need more guards. But it's about midday on your patrol. What are you doing, Zasha?
Well, I think at this time, midday, Sasha's probably getting tired. He's been on patrol since 6 a.m. He's he's enjoying his post here, but seeing all these weird people popping up, he's from Cloudshire. He knows what's up. He knows a little bit about the political structure, and I think he's just getting kind of tired of seeing all the same human faces. I think it's time for him to grab a little bit of lunch, maybe have a smoke, and he's looking for a tavern to go into. I think he starts making his way towards the closest place he knows where he can get a weak ale. He's still on duty, but he wants a drink and get a fine meal of maybe some sausage, some potatoes. It's been a long day for him. It's the festival. He's already had to remove 3 teenagers messing with a tent. And, in the business district, the pickpockets are starting to come out. It's been a hell of a morning. So I think that's what he's doing.
It has indeed been a hell of a morning. On top of the teenagers, there's been crowds and kerfuffles and things you would normally deal with in Cloudshire. They're like, the other guards are like, no, it's the festival. Like, just let them paddle there. Let them sing their songs over there. Let everyone be happy, but make sure no one's being a disturbance. And since it's very weird, like, back and forth you're getting it from your superiors on what you can and can't do and what you should and shouldn't be doing. And some days you swear they've said the opposite the day before. The day has especially been one of those days. But very specifically, there are a couple of well-known inns within the city. There is the Welcome Wench, which is one of the places that lets all the races come and enjoy themselves, and they're very much you don't start fights there. It's a very neutral ground, and if you start any kind of business there, you're kind of a scumbag. That's not too far from where you're at, but very specifically, because of the festival, there's all sorts of street vendors that are about. There's people selling, watered down ales on their side of the road. There's all sorts of street food vendors, sausage on a stick, these egg and veggie mixtures, baked into some bread. Basically, if you could think of it, it's somewhere within in the same distance of the Welcome Wench. So, would you want to sit down and have a actual sit down meal, or you want to keep patrolling and get some street food?
Well, I think at this point I'd probably get some street food, but I'm not going to drink that watered down ale they have in the cart. I know this city. I know what's up. I know they're fucking taking water out of the local stream here, and who knows who's pissing in the shit. So I think I'm going to go to the Welcome Wench for my afternoon smoke and ale break here. I'm going to get an egg sandwich on the way, though.
Very, very much so. That your patrol is done probably in the next hour or so, just because of they've blocked it off that like you happen to have the early shift, but it's a shorter shift than you'd have in Cloudshire, but you're working basically 6 out of the 7 days out of the week, so it kind of equals out the same hours. Yeah, you get a little egg sandwich. It's it's street vendor food. It fills you in, but it's not that great. I want you to roll me a perception check as you're navigating to the wench.
Can do. And I'm also probably looking at the sandwich and wondering why it's so small compared to before. Being a more human city and all.
Absolutely, you're used to the bigger portions that your fellow non-humans make. 15, excellent. You notice as you're walking down one of these alleyways, there's some hooded figures, and very swiftly as you were stepping past, they take you notice them take notice of you and then dart down one of the side streets. With your years of experience, this is definitely one of those, all right, what are those guys up to kind of situations.
Yeah, I'm looking a little pissed off because I can't finish my sandwich. I tuck it into my side pouch, hold up my shield a little closer, and I start making my way. I don't run after them, but I start making my way down, keeping an eye out behind me every 5-10 seconds to make sure I'm not getting surrounded here. But I'll go down the alley. Let's see what they're doing.
All right, give me a survival, because they are. You notice you hear the sounds of them actively trying to like hide and get away from you. This is not your first time tracking down ruffians. Give me a quick survival.
Can do.
Hey, nice.
Nice.
Hey.
Excellent. You have quickly learned these streets. Cloudshire is very much a city in growth, a city under development, and you've learned that. So you've learned how to navigate streets and whatnot, and you just are natural within the city. As you are tracking these down, though, we are going to switch over to Zathariel. Zathariel, you've been in the city for probably about 16 hours so far. Given your reputation in cities, what are you doing currently?
So I've been in the city about 16
I apologize.
hours.
I just realized I forgot to start recording, so we are recording from this moment now. That's tech issue number 2 on me. We're recording now.
It happens, man.
It's all right. Yes. Yeah, but you've been in the city for about 12 to 16 hours. Very much enough time to get a rest, get a meal, see the people you're supposed to see here. And it's about 36 hours until the festival opens. So what are you doing?
I know that I have family in this city, but I don't think that that's somebody that I want to go see yet. I think I'm on the welcome winch. So Zathariel has this thing where he tries to establish kind of information gathering systems in cities that he visits. So he'll be like listening to, he'll be performing places, but he likes to kind of use the street urchins of the city as his little information gatherers. So I know that the festival is going on, but what do we got for homeless?
Give me a percentile, D100.
Yeah.
You have spent your time, looking around, investigating, doing some stuff. All right, 85, great. You happen to, as you enter the city, just see some miscreants, and you're a friendly guy. You went up and you start talking to them, and it was like almost the same. They're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's totally cool. Yeah, we'll tell you some stuff." And you met little Timmy, little Jimmy. And they are super excited to meet you because they love music, they love bards, it's one of their favorite things. And as soon as they saw it, they're like, "Oh, you're a bard! Play us a song!" And it doesn't even matter how good the song was; they were just like, "He played us a song! Oh, we love this guy!" And you were able to determine relatively quickly that there is very much a odd dynamic in the city right now. There is a huge influx of people that aren't from the city, and there's a huge influx of non-humans and humans alike, and there was a very, very obvious status quo until these new people arrived, and there's been a lot of fights recently in the last day or so, and the city is like waited on bated breath to see what happens with the festival. Is it going to be a riot? Is it going to be successful? Are the race wars going to kick off again? Like everyone's like, what's going on? And that is the information that you have. I would say at this point, Timmy and Jimmy have kind of gathered some of their other friends, a couple of the kids, maybe a few people a little bit older, very early 20s and whatnot, that are kind of interested in talking to you and see what's going on. And very much so, the Welcome Lunch is a very welcoming place, and you know that at lunch and at dinner time there is a soup and bread line that forms around the back.
Got you. Okay, so I've got my little crowd of street urchins paying attention to me. So we're going to get to the information that they're gathering. But first and foremost, I need to know what the people of the city like to see in terms of entertainment. And I feel like these kids will be a good test audience. So in my head, he's kind of like trying out material on them, like juggling like lights kind of and playing his flute. But in my head, it's in a way that's...
food?
Huh?
What about tavern food? Yeah, doing this Jerry Seinfeld thing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's the deal about these city guards? Sorry, Zasha.
What about King Titus?
But yeah, in my head, he's a little bit off key. So I'm just kind of performing for them, trying to kind of get them on my side. Have they given me any information about the factions that have gathered in the city yet, or anything? I guess we'll kind of get there.
Very much so. That a lot of the factions are relatively new, and that is some information that I will give to the group and everyone at a later date. That's like they don't really. You'd have to ask them, and they'd have to go find out, kind of deal. Like they don't have. You'd have to give them more time to find out.
So I am concluding my little awkward performance with them, and I'll be like, "All right, guys, it's been a good, thank you for everything so far. I've got a mission for you. I'm going to pull out a couple of silver coins. And I'll be like, I've got one coin for each of you that can bring me back shield or a faction that is in the city, and one piece of information about them. And then I'm going to pull out one gold coin. And so if any of you can bring me the princess's favorite song or favorite story, I have a gold coin for you.
Is it real?
You'll have to find out. Or I'll just flip it in the air and kind of wink at him.
All right. Are you trying to deceive them, or are you trying to persuade them?
Persuade.
Roll me a persuasion.
Hey.
Just barred things.
Well, very much so. You are able to persuade these urchins and street dwellers into scattering like the wind. You very much. I'm not saying it. I didn't say it. Did not say it. I caught myself.
Honestly, I love the drinking game. I'm about it. It's going to be our thing. Just say it when you feel it. Let's say it. Very much so.
I didn't realize I said it that much until now. Now I'm subconscious about it. But it's at this point that you notice that little Timmy was there, but little Jimmy wasn't there. And you had spoken to him yesterday about some things, and we're hoping to speak with him.
He never came back.
You haven't seen him, but also, like, if something happened, the other kids would know.
Wait. I gotta ask, did I miss something? Are we drinking every time Joe says very much so?
Oh yeah, that's in the
chat. Okay. Well,
Bailey
I am so very glad that I am aware of this now that I have a full drink.
On an out of character note, Dave, I had muted the Foundry tab and unmuted the stream, and I don't know if they can hear the music in the stream chat. Do we have music coming through? I don't know if anybody's paid attention. I can hear it in Foundry, but when I mute it, I don't know if it's coming through.
I have Twitch mute.
I mute Twitch as well, but I'm getting levels on the music. So, oh no, I'm not. What? Hold on.
Maybe just to touch it.
Nope. I know what the issue is.
All right, excellent.
And I can fix it.
Yeah, but anyway, so little Jimmy was here, but little Timmy didn't come back.
Correct.
But the kids didn't seem to have reacted negatively, so I'm not going to be too worried about that. I'm just going to keep an eye out. Hopefully, we hear back from him, because I was hoping.
This is definitely a time of day where he'd be showing up, because, like I said, there's that soup and bread line, and he's definitely trying to get some. The Welcome Lunch not only gives out free food, but they make quality food, and they give out like if you live in the streets, you get this soup, or if you have money, you have to come in and pay for it. Like you're not getting slop out in the street line. This is good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep an eye out for him, but I think I'm gonna go into the welcome wench here. I've been here before. I've been here about 16 hours, right? Have I made my way here before? This is my first time in.
You've been here before, but very much so because you were able to like catch the eye of the street urchins. You never actually got a chance to make your way in. Normally,
Oh,
little
perfect.
Timmy or Jimmy is like rattling your ear off about something. You're just all right. Yeah, I'll follow you and listen to you, kid. Okay, whatever.
It's about time I made my appearance in here. So we're gonna walk into the tavern and make my way up to the bar top and just get a nice seat right here in the corner and hopefully catch the eye of
The shit.
Wow,
is
we
that?
just finished up the BBEG.
Not a problem because things happen, and that is a great chance for us to pan the scene away from Seth Royale and his delicious lunch and wine at the Welcome Wench,
Yep.
and find ourselves with Lucian. Lucian, this is the point where you've made your way into the city. You have bartered or traded or used your tongue to get yourself here, and finally you are in Aelorim, the capital of the continent, and the country. And it's as impressive and hopeful and horrifying and everything you've thought all wrapped into once. Your traveling companions directed you towards the Welcome Wench, or very much so because of the circles you traveled in, there is a
the chat is saying no audio here.
All right, we are back. The stream view is live. We've got the table back available. And are we all back on audio?
I am present.
Oh, good to go.
I'm here.
I'm here as well.
Here. Yep.
Here. Excellent. Dave's here.
I am.
Let us resume our scene. We had picked up with Lucian, who had just made his way to the city. You'd been steered towards the Welcome Wench, but also there is a small little tent within the tent city outside of Aelorim called Under the Lantern that you were told you might want to check out.
Well, I'll start off with the Welcome Wench at the very least, because after all the travel, I could use a good hot meal and some nice cool ale.
Very much so. And they're like, if you want a good meal for a decent price, the Wench is where it's at.
I will just walk my merry way inside, help myself to a free seat, wave over Miss Vesta. And
you go to wave your hand, and she's already there going, oh, hi, doll. What can I get you?
Yeah, how'd you do that?
Do what?
Never mind. What have you got that's good?
Oh, well, honey, I don't have enough time to tell you everything.
Fair enough. All right. I'll take a pint of ale and dealer's choice as far as food goes.
Excellent. Not even a black eye. She's on the other side of you. There is a pint with a very thick head up top of it, and you have a relatively light lunch. It is some roasted chicken and a couple of roasted vegetables and a small slice of bread.
That sounds really good.
Oh, you take one bite and you're just like, oh my god, what is that? What does that taste? There's just roast chicken is roast chicken, but there's just something. There's this fresh, kind of earthy, kind of herby. Just you can't really put your tongue upon it, your finger on it. But there's just something about it. You're just like, this is delicious.
It's that secret 11 herbs and spices, huh?
Something like that, yeah. You do notice within the bar, there's a couple of patrons. There is a half-elf at the bar, as well on the far end, talking to the barkeep, literally sitting on the bar, is this 2-foot fairy.
Oh, I thought it was the goblins with a cigar for a second, but okay. I'm in no rush at the moment. I'm gonna enjoy my food before I start eyeing people's coin purses. But after I'm done eating, I'm gonna approach the barkeep and hand him sort of a flyer with my information on it and saying that I'm basically looking for odd jobs and that if anybody's interested in hiring me, they can find me outside the city walls. I'll have a small camp set up.
You approach the barkeep and he's keeping a story. And that's when the axe came flying down at my head. But pretty quick on my feet with a and he jumps around in place. Oh, that axe didn't even stand a chance. And what did the wizard do? I don't really remember. It was some, they go with their, and he wiggles his fingers around as he's talking to the fairy in front of him, and just barrel, magic, and the fucking minotaur was down. Oh well, and this is when he pulls out from around his waist. There's a drinking horn he has. It's large. It's way larger than you get from like a steer or a cow. And he goes, and this is where I got me drinking horn, Clover. You could probably fit your leg in there. He kind of tries to like put Clover in the empty drinking horn as she's like just like trying to enjoy herself. He definitely reaches out to your flyer and just instinctively hands it to Clover and goes, "Oh, here you go. This is for you." "Oh, honey, I have a question." And then he just walks to the other side of the bar and just starts talking to his wife, very much forgetting to finish the story about the Minotaur.
All right, then.
But yes, very much so. Your flyer was taken by somebody and passed to someone who is, a seat over from you.
Clover looks down at the flyer. It says, Lucian, I see. I'm Clover. It's nice to meet you. And reaches out her hand for him to shake it.
I'll be kind of confused for a second, but I'll reach out and shake Clover's hand. Like, yeah, good to meet you.
All right, I'd like to use Heart Sight.
Got him.
Did you target Lucian?
I did.
Yep.
Ooh, Lucian, you failed.
Hey, that's fine.
Well, why don't you remind us what Heart Sense does there, Clover? Or Heart Sight, apologies.
So, it lets me know their emotional state and what's going on regardless, and then if they fail their charisma save, I get to know their alignment.
What's Lucian's alignment?
Chaotic good.
Okay.
And what's your overall state? How are you feeling?
A little overwhelmed by all of the people and scents and sights going on, but otherwise fairly ambivalent.
Clover smiles, knowing that he's good, and says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, Lucian. What are you doing here for the festival? You seem new."
Yeah, I just got into town. I'm not really doing anything in particular, just, looking to ply my hand, get some coin, taking odd jobs here and there.
I understand that. It's always about making coin. I am mainly trying to make it as a tattoo artist, but, I'm never down for a good job.
And she
But
still
not
owes me a
that bad.
tattoo down there.
Mm-mm-mm.
You hear Alistair yell from the bar, goes right back to his conversation.
Yeah. Sometimes tattooing can even pay the rent.
That's interesting. Are you hoping to create magically infused tattoos?
Yes, actually, I am. Once you're attuned to them, they can do different things like breathing underwater and, advantage on in certain situations, I guess. So I've been doing a lot of studying and I'm looking forward to testing it out more, hopefully at the festival. Between you and me, I'm hoping to. I heard there's contests where you can help meet the princess and seduce her, but I really just want to give her a tattoo.
That's a really cool idea. And I might have to look into some of these competitions.
Absolutely. I've heard they're at the carnival. Maybe we can go together later to sign up for some of these.
Yeah, sure.
It's always good to have company in such a big, bustling city.
Yeah, no kidding.
Zath, you see this conversation transpire. Are you engaging in any way, or are you just enjoying yourself? I will say that the pot pie was a seafood pot pie that you were not expecting, but the different shrimps and fishes are all cooked perfectly, and they all hold themselves but melt like butter in your mouth.
Zathariel is many things, but a picky eater he is not. So the pot pie is fine.
Quick
I'm
question:
not really-
Did Zasha ever go inside? His token's still outside.
No, we left him off at a chase.
Oh yeah, he went off to find some baddies.
Got it. Tracking.
I definitely kind of lend a half ear to what they're talking about, but I'm not engaging just yet. I'm kind of, a couple nibbles of my food, a sip of the wine, but I'm mostly just taking stock of who's in the bar, kind of keeping an eye on things, and waiting for my homeboy to show up. I'm still expecting one more little informant to pop through for that bread line. Do I have a sight to the outdoor from where I am right now? You said it's out back.
So typically the bread line's out back, but very much so that the street dwellers, the street urchins, they're not. It's not that they're not allowed inside; they just typically don't come inside because they don't have gold to spend. But the ones you befriended are bold enough to walk in and be like, "Hey, yo, let's go outside and talk. I got some stuff." Or, "Hey, yo, I got this thing. Look at it." And most of the time, you're like, "Yeah, that's a broken toy." Like,
we're gonna have to teach these guys discretion, to defeat the purpose.
But as you say that, we will actually pop over to Zasha. Zasha, you are on the heels of this person, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat." Like the enjoyment of the chase kind of catches up with you, and suddenly, just out of nowhere, you burst through a door, and you're at the welcome wench, and little Jimmy just goes right up to Zath and goes, "Yeah, Zath, he's after me!"
Sputtering into my glass of wine and turn around to see this giant dragonborn chasing this little street urchin.
Oh yeah, this is your first time seeing a dragonborn. You've heard of them, but it is a sight to behold. It is a dragon in human form without the. I'm sorry, Sasha. Where did we land? Do you have a tail or no?
I do not. I am tailless as a dragonborn.
Very much so. This very, very humanoid, no wings, no tail, but that's a dragonborn. Just bursts through the door, and the bar just kind of goes quiet. Zasha, you're not used to like throwing through doors like that, but just like I said, you were in the chase, and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm inside this tavern."
Go
At
ahead.
this point, what you hear is just out of breath Zasha looking around, sees little Timmy or Jimmy, and be like, "Hey, you little shit, come here!" And start walking over to the bar.
Zath, help me! I don't got any money.
Is by looking at him, he's in a city guard's uniform, correct?
Oh, this is very much one of the guards that has been brought from outside the city. He's in his he has a metal badge with a cloud on it. That's the symbol of Cloudshire, but very specifically for time being, the Aelorim red A has been painted on it.
Literally a scarlet letter. It's correct. That's funny. But I would still,
Right.
but I would know that this is like not somebody clearly trying to attack this.
Yeah, this
kid.
is
It's
very
a
much
city
a city guard.
So I'll like kind of stand up.
Drunk.
Say again, Zasha. I'm sorry.
I'm coming over aggressively, looking tired from chasing this little shit, but I don't have a weapon in my hand or anything. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
I'd definitely be startled at the sound of my name and then the approaching stacked dragonborn that's looking none too happy. So inwardly panicked, but Zathariel's very much so one of those people. Oh yeah, here there you go. You can drink when I say it too. Very much so one of those people that outwardly seems very calm. So just lightly set down my glass of wine and stand up. A little street urchin takes a position behind my legs, hiding from Zasha. Just like, is there been some misunderstanding here, officer?
Yeah, it looks like your little. Is this your kid?
I don't know that I would say he's my kid, but he is an acquaintance.
Well, your acquaintance here seems to be a suspect that I need to ask a few questions.
Why?
Should I be
Because I'm
taking you in as
little?
well? No, because you decided to run from a city guard. What the hell's wrong with you?
Now,
Have you seen you? You're scary.
Easy now.
Eh,
As last I
they-
checked, it wasn't a crime to run from a guard. He's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I think you,
nothing wrong.
I think you see Zasha take a breath here, try to relax, realize that he's just having a shitty day. He might be taking it out on somebody who just ran from a scary-looking fucking dragon, because he's gotten it before. And be like, okay, fair enough. Just
It's like,
what the hell were you guys doing there? You guys look like you were making some kind of spice deal here or something, and what's going? Why did you have to? All I needed to ask is, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? And we would have been done here, but then you decided to run. What's going on, kid? And who are you? You fancy looking. Sorry.
as he's interrogating him, I think Zothario would kind of like talk over him, just like, look, I think we can resolve this. If the boy was on an errand, it was for me. I'm on a quest to find the princess's favorite song. But you seemed like you may have had a rough day. The barkeep was kind enough to open this fine elvish port for me. Would you care for a drink?
I think looking over, I've been to this bar before, right? Seeing Vesta. So I think looking over at Vesta, looking at what's the situation going on, I'm going to just sit down next to him and just kind of look a little defeated and be like, sure, this is not my usual environment. And yes, I will take that drink. And you see me take off my pin and put it into a pouch, my guard pin, and be like, this is my break.
Off duty, baby.
Yeah.
Osler immediately appears in front of you. Oh, fucking Zasha, I've heard of you, Dragonborn. The second Dragonborn I've actually ever met. He gives you like the very cheesy wink. I know what you like, and he whips up this very very large wine glass and fills it about halfway. It's probably about two and a half actual drinks of wine. He goes, "That's my very own cinnamon wine. I've heard the Dragonborns love it." So this is disgusting. It's wine, it's fruity, grapey, and then it has a very cinnamon flavor that hits you like a mace. You've been hit with the mace before. It is not good. But Osler is just, yeah, it's great, isn't it? You love it, don't you?
You know what? In respect to that, I'll take the wine glass and be like, oh, Osler, you sure know our Dragonborn well. And I'll begrudgingly take the sip and put down a silver piece for the glass and see his reaction.
I told you, Dragonborns! And he just goes on this tangent about Dragonborns and how he knows them, and like he met this one time, and they had a moment, and you're like, I don't understand, because he's like half remembering / half talking out loud, and he starts pacing the bar. Vesta, out of nowhere, has replaced your wine glass with a mug of ale, the stuff you typically drink, and as you go to take that third sip, you're like, oh my god, this is so better, this is just cool, refreshing ale. And she winks, and another seafood pot pie appears in front of Zasha.
And I will put down 2 more silver for that, so 3 silver. Yeah, I much appreciated that. And then at this moment, I'm going to look over at Zaf here, pretty boy, and be like, so, I'm off duty, and I just chased down this little twerp. I'm sorry, I've been having a bad day. I look at the kid and be like, kid, what's your name?
As you begin to talk to little Jamie, and he starts to tell you about his street urchin life, we are going to go ahead and take a quick break here. I know we just took 5 recently, but the midway point, I like to take a little break just to make sure everyone has fresh water, can take a bio and whatnot. And very much so, we don't need to hear me talking in little Jimmy's voice for any more than we have already done tonight. So let's take a quick 5. Dave, you're my time master. Do that for me, please.
On it. So we are at 9:05. We'll be back at 9:10 Pacific, guys.
Yeah, AFK.
Jesus, scratching that beard. He deserves it. He totally deserves it.
There we go. Now I've got it back on the right scene. Yeah, and we should be back, everybody, back into the Welcome Wench, and DM Snack King Joe, please take it away.
Excellent. As the scene fades from our party in the Welcome Wench, we will fade to a very small, very unknown entrance into the city. For those that know the city, they know that there are the 4 main gates, but in the opposite corners, and not the main cardinal directions, there are smaller entryways into the city. Severin,
yes, sir.
You have just made your way for the first time since Titus. For the first, well, I mean, you're in Aelorim. You're back. You've taken one of the side entrance, knowing that there will be less of a line. What are you doing?
Well, I wouldn't feel like my journey was over for the day if I didn't look for those who are worse off than me and try and help them in some way. So the first thing that I'm looking around for the city, in the city, is for, the downtrodden, the homeless, the sick and the injured.
Give me an investigation check.
Sure.
I think I've made everyone roll so far.
I believe so.
I know I haven't rolled anything yet. Oh, ignore that second one, or take that second one. I don't know. Up to you. Could I have advantage? Could I have advantage and take the 15?
You know what? I will very much, for the sake of RP, give you advantage for this check. For
reasons.
Reasons to be explained. We'll say that.
Fair.
But you know that around noon there are a few soup and bread lines. Very much so, the one with the Welcome Wench is the best soup line, and typically has the most downtrodden and those in need of help at it.
Well, then.
I would like you to give me a survival check to see if you can navigate there.
Sure. Give me a second, because I screwed up my token and I need to replace it.
You had your second.
Yeah, I had my second, and then now I'm rolling.
Fine.
And then now I'm rolling. What am I rolling again?
A survival.
Survival, thank you. That's not horrible.
Nice. No, that ain't bad at all.
There is fresh construction. Very much so, when old Aelorim was king, there was a sense of artificial unity amongst all of the new and old districts of the city. Since Titus has taken over, there's been not constant construction, but constant retro renovations to restore parts of the city of how they were before old Aelorim had decided to change and alter them. This can make parts of the city confusing, and oh my god, there's a cat on me. Sorry, she scared the crap out of me.
Drink for Cat on Joe.
Whew. Oh, it's kitty, stop that. But you're able to get yourself to the wench. There's the main entrance into the front, which you walk your way through.
Well, I did specifically. Did I find anybody who was in need on my way to the wench?
Most of the people that seem to be in need have like a hot bowl of soup and a big loaf of bread.
What about injured?
Very oddly, there are no injured or very sickly homeless people.
Interesting. So,
a city of this level, you would assume like to have somebody.
Do an insight check on this, please.
Roll it up.
Hey, nice.
That is a 21.
Very much so. Outside of your monastery, a growing town formed because of your deity and what you believe. And with that comes a population of homeless people. Some that are, just homeless. Some that are sick. Some that are injured. Some that are in need of healing and guidance. So the fact that you're in a city much larger than your town, and there's none of that, it's concerning to you. You don't know why, but you're like, that doesn't seem right.
I'm going to contemplate this heavily as I seek out lodging for the time being, and so in walks Severin, and everybody sees what appears to be a monk, definitely sporting robes and markings. Anybody familiar with Ilmater and their religion, you would see tattoos, markings, and definitely robes of station as being a wandering monk of Ilmater.
Why don't we get a religion check from everybody while you're describing this?
For sure. Oh, well, not from me, from them.
Yes, correct. From everyone but Severin.
Oh no.
He knows this deity.
I
I'm
do
not a
know
pious
my
man.
God inside and out, one would hope.
Clover and Lucian, please. Religion check. Thank you. And Clover is.
There we go.
Oh, there
Nice.
we go.
Yeah, sevens unite.
Very much so. Ilmator is a god that believes there is an infinite amount of suffering and wants to
Finite,
take it
not infinite.
finite. Thank you. Finite amount of suffering and wants to take it upon themselves to end it for other people. And very much so, the followers of Ilmator believe this and take this creed amongst them. Zasha, you're the only one that rolled high enough to know anything else. Very much so, it is a religious order that exists in every part of civilization. Like, even if there's just like a town of 100 people, there's someone that tries to imitate Ilmater in some form or fashion and alleviate the suffering of the people around them. It is something that is a commonplace throughout the world. The rest of you just know about this cool god because it's just something that you would eventually, at one point in your life, you would have it at one of their monks or priests or what have you that were like, oh, Ilmator believes this, and you're like, all right, dude, whatever, you can suffer, I won't, whatever.
This conversation is making me
Their hands
suffer.
in the fire and was like, "That's interesting."
That was non-canonical, remember?
I mean, is that a thing that people do?
Very much so.
Severin,
When you,
like a zealot in this way.
So everyone but Zasha believes they're like that kind of like, oh, I'll just put my hands in the fire so I suffer and no one else. It's a very cartoon-esque understanding of this order. Zasha, you're the only one that actually understands like the depth to it, and there's like they believe there's a finite amount of suffering and they choose a path of suffering to alleviate for other people. It's it's kind of a noble-esque thing. But Zasha, you were saying something, you got cut off, I believe.
Yeah, I think seeing Severin walk in, recognizing Ilmater robes or symbols on his body, I think he would just give him a nod, recognizing his station and what he generally believes. It's a good thing to see in a city so full of hate sometimes that there's still people willing to even go a little overboard sometimes to help others. So, friendly nod as he's still talking to little Jimmy and Zath out there.
And that's why I ran from you, alright? You understand? I'm sorry.
So
okay. Fair enough. I'm a 6 foot tall reptilian looking dude. Okay. Sorry. Off duty. You have a nice day, citizen.
So
as he turns around.
Very much so, Severin. You walk in, and there's
a very much so.
God damn it.
They're counting.
There
They're
is
counting.
Yes, you know what? Very much so, chat. I hope you're happy. There's a 2-foot Severin. You see a 2-foot 3 fairy sitting on the bar enjoying a meal, and for the first time that you can remember, there's a dragonborn, sitting at the bar that as you walk in gives you a friendly nod, which is not something you typically get. Typically, people are kind of like, "Oh, well, suffer for me," and they're kind of like rude and aggressive. But this is a kind gesture.
I would say Severin is used to the rudeness just because not everybody understands what it means, what this kind of sacrifice means, and they're specifically not meant to, right? Because if they had the knowledge that I have, they would be suffering, and so he actually takes joy in their ignorance.
And very much so. This is probably one of the very few times in your life where someone's like giving you a very polite and friendly greeting.
Mm-hmm.
What's your response?
Well, I would say I definitely feel a little bit more comfortable about getting closer to the bar with the Dragonborn who is giving me the friendly nod. But my question would be, which of these two looks like they would be the person to talk to about establishing lodging? Would it be the bartender or Vesta?
Very much so. Vesta looks like your typical bar maiden, and Osler very much. Typically, if you man the bar, or you're the owner of the establishment. That's something you would know. So you would feel your best bet is going to Osler.
So I would come up here and I would address Osler and ask how much for room and board for a week.
A whole week? It's the Festival of the Maiden. You looking for a private room, or you want a bed in the economy suite? There's about 8 or 9 beds there.
A cot in the stables would be fine.
Well, we don't got stables, so there's the economy or the single room.
I would take the economy then, please.
The economy for a week, 1 gold coin, my friend, and I need a name.
Does that include board?
To include board, 3 gold for the week.
So
3 meals a day for 7 days, and 7 days in a bed.
So 3 gold total, or is that in addition to the 1?
3 gold total, friend.
And
I say, because of the faith you follow, I've given you a friendly discount. It gives you like a very exaggerated cartoon, like wink.
That is more than necessary. I assure you. Thank you. And he pulls out of a pouch, and the pouch it's a leather pouch that looks old, very very old, but it still looks like fine leather. It's just been through the ringer, and he reaches in and he pulls out 3 gold pieces that he's been holding on to for some time, and just passes them over to Osler to cover his fees.
Sasha, roll me a perception check, please.
Perception.
Yes, Sasha only.
That is 16.
Sasha, one of the very odd things you were told, very odd. Beyond your typical city guard routines, you were told to watch out for odd currency. And as this monk comes and pays his room, you notice that his coins they're out of date for Aelorim. No one uses those coins anymore.
Yeah, this would be the equivalent of finding a 1910 bill or something like that.
Yes, it very much sticks out. So.
Okay, well, I think seeing at this point, I know he's already handed out if they're on the counters still. I was gonna.
Well, hold on. Just one more bit of information. You were told that if you were to see anything like that, to report it the next time you ended or started a shift. It's
And
not
it
like
was-
it's not like you need to immediately go tell your supervisors, but when you
Yeah.
end your shift, your supervisors want to know about that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, I think at this point I'm gonna slide over. I'm probably listening to the conversation. How much was for the just the room, not the board?
Just the room was 1 gold. Room and board for the week is 3 gold.
Okay. I think at this point I would probably, if they're still on the counter, try to slide 2 of the gold back and be like, "Hey, buddy, I know, I know you're type a little bit. Just giving you a heads up. You could save a little cash. They do a soup line in the back. You might find some people that you can help too."
Oh, I I really had no need for these coins other than covering my stay here. That's a good idea. And Severin, after paying for his room and board, is going to take the rest of his coins to the bread line and start passing them out to the people there, and just get rid of every coin in his hand or in his pouch.
Jeez, mister, you're the swellest.
This is outside or just in the bar?
I think it was
very-
like behind the inn, right? But I would go distribute and then return as long as nothing stopped me.
Oh, okay. If you're giving them out in the
So-
bar, I was gonna make sure I get a coin, but
No,
very
this
mu-
is to
very
the poor
much-
people, you jackass.
Very much so because
it's all relative.
because the bar is. I will say because the bar is unusually empty. On the left side of the wench, there is a large community table where most of the street folks have been able to sit and relax themselves. It's not that the wench doesn't let them sit; it's normally they're busy for lunch and there's no room for them to sit. But because the day's an off day, they're like, no, come inside, relax, take your feet off. There's pitchers of water. There's a few pitchers of wine and whatnot. Like the street urchins are very much getting like a well needed like time to relax and eat and just exist.
Just for the record,
Free
though,
of
Joe,
worry.
now all 25 coins are in circulation.
I'm sorry, you reeled about it there for a second.
I said, just for the record now, Joe, all 25 coins are now in circulation.
Okay, thank you.
And I think also, just for the record, as he starts walking back, and after telling him about the soup kitchen, I'm gonna takes particular note of his features, his tattoos as he's walking away, or any tattoos, markings, his robes, and knowing now that he's probably staying around here. Just in particular.
You rolled the highest on your religion check, so very much so you're going to be able to recall information and details about this person. Because very much so, Ilmater has
He's doing it on purpose now, huh?
I'm not, I swear. But Ilmater has zero like recognition or there's no one here that follows that order. Like Severin being here is kind of an oddity because it wasn't typically in a city like that like this you'd see it, but until he showed up, there was no presence of Ilmater.
Yeah. Okay. And just for my knowledge, would I know if Ilmater was an established religion or one that's outlawed, perhaps?
To outlaw that religion is to kind of be like an evil tyrant.
Yeah.
So very much so, people. It's just there. It's a thing.
It's just, yeah. Okay.
I'm mad at
Fair.
words for no reason.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Severin, you pass out your coins,
Mhm.
and Vesta actually appears next to you and goes, "Listen, honey, I really appreciate what you do, and I would love to treat you to a meal and a beverage of your choice if you would allow me. I know your order. I know what you're going to say, but please, it would do my heart justice to feed you well and to see that you were set for the rest of the day. Please. Please."
I do still need to eat for now.
Excellent. What is your choice? What do you like?
I look
even-
around and see most people enjoying those pot pies, and I say, one of those pies, they smell delicious, madam.
Oh, that is my specialty. My husband hates that we have them because it takes so much out of him. He has to prep so many, but let me give you a choice. we've got this delicious, rich, and hearty beef pot pie, or I've got this delectable, creamy, and sharp seafood pot pie.
The creamy seafood pie sounds divine. Thank you.
Absolutely, and she literally from behind her back just puts it in front of you as you're, and you don't know how, but you're sitting at the bar, like you don't know if she guided you, you don't know if she like carried you, but you're sitting at the bar. The pot pie is there, and in front of you there's a glass of milk, and if you choose a pint of beer.
He would take the milk.
As soon as you reach for the pint, the glass of milk, Oscar just goes, man after me own choices. I love me a glass of milk, as he downs the beer.
So at that point, with being presented with a meal, Severin will proceed to pray for a good 10-15 minutes before he actually starts digging in, and people would be able to overhear him. He's not being loud about it, just kind of quietly mumbling in Celestial. So anybody who understood Celestial would catch the words of his prayer, and of course part of it is going through all of the listing all of the suffering that he wants to rid of the world. So just naming off things that are just horrible, torture and bad and disease and all these things that are just the terrors and racks of the world, and just thanking Ilmater for the nourishment that is being provided to him so that he can continue that mission.
Severin, you fully expect to bite into your pot pie and it be warm or room temperature. It surprisingly burns your mouth as you're like, I was expecting that. Oh my god. You're used to praying and your meal getting room temperature, cool, maybe
yes.
So warm. But this is
that's actually part of the ritual to make the food less enjoyable.
No, you sink your spoon in this pot pie and it's creamy. It's the crust is buttery. There's the snap from the veggies and as I said before, the different fishes and seafoods and whatnot are just melting in your mouth like butter. And it is the first time in a long time you've been able to, without even trying to, just enjoy a meal. It's just and as you look up, Osler and Vesta are across the bar just staring at you with pure joy as you're they're just we got you, you son of a bitch. You're enjoying it. We know your order. You're gonna love it.
and I will do nothing but bestow my praises upon them for such a wonderful meal and make sure that they feel as happy and satisfied as they can be as proprietors and providers of this.
I'm sorry. Ooh. Sorry. I'm sorry, sir. What was your name again?
Severin Massock.
Severin, you say? I was born in this city. I left when I was 12, and I didn't come back till about 8 years ago, but I was born in this city, and you're the first. What are you priests, monks? What do you call yourself in your order? I apologize.
We are monks. Yes.
Yes. Monks of Ilmater. I've actually never encountered. I've studied, I've read, I've seen. But to encounter one of your order, it's a rare sight in me city, and I just want to say thank you for what you do, and I hope that your stay here is pleasant and enjoyable. And if you should need anything, I believe that guy, and he points to Lucian, had a thing about stuff he handed me. I didn't read it. I don't actually.
I'd like to insight this, if I may. Shit.
You have no, you're like, what is this guy about? Why is he just pointing to people and talking? What's going on? You're just confused. And that guy has, if you need work done, he's available. And this one, and he reaches out and and like playfully, like literally, like almost crawling on the bar, slaps Zasha. This guy's a city guard from Cloudshire, and I bet you he knows the city pretty well if you needed to know any information or whatnot. But I just because of what you do and who you are, I just want to welcome you. Thank you. And you know what?
I actually am mentioning that this Dragonborn is a city guard. I do turn to him and say, I noticed a very distinct lack of presence of poverty here. It's odd. Is this kingdom prospering so much that you have no poor, no homeless?
Do you want the real answer or my professional answer?
I would prefer the truth because lies only hurt us.
Well, my professional answer is that Aelorim is a great city where people prosper and everybody's going to have a grand old time after the last 10 years. The real answer is, yeah, they're outside the city walls with people who look like me.
I see. So those who are in need are being segregated outside?
What do you expect? It's a big city with a grand. I know you're all about that, pity on the poor and stuff. But respectfully, sir, this is Aelorim.
I see. Could you take me there to where they are?
I think seeing this, knowing what his order is, but also knowing that he is also human, or at least from the looks of it, right?
Yes.
Can I make an insight check? Can I make an insight check on him? And my intention is to see whether he has good intentions, or if he's just kind of fucking around. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
That's fair.
You're asking me, a Dragonborn, one of the weaknesses, to take you to the place where our people are kind of safe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
so that's a 23 insight.
Do you want me to answer, or are you answering, Joe? Because I know
so
I'm on the level.
yeah. Well, I just want to double check. Severin 100%. Like, please take me to the Severin so I can help them. Like, he's pleading while being polite. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think after realizing that, I'll say to him, well, if you don't mind waiting looking at whatever. Do we have clockwork in this game, or am I looking at a candle with nails?
So very much so. There is some basic steampunk kind of elements, and most of it is for like modern conveniences like cooking and timekeeping and those kind of things. It hasn't really exploded into like the adventuring and like overall like airship and whatnot kind of technology. It's more like there's clocks and there's things that help you in your everyday life. Very much so. You have to at least do one more hour of work. You're allowed to break, but you have at least one more hour you have to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see in the nearest clock. And I'll look to Severin and be like, if you don't mind waiting another 25 minutes for me to have a meal and finish my drink here, I'll be back on duty, and I need to go patrol that way anyways. So, gotta pass through the business district and then head outside the wall. I can take you if you're really that interested.
I would appreciate that very much. Let's enjoy our meal then.
All right. And as I look at Osada and be like, kind of nod and be like, so, if I'm gonna be taking you, what's your name?
Severin Massock.
Pleasure to meet you, Severin. I'm Zasha Beeson.
I definitely shake his hand.
Yes.
His hand is huge compared to yours.
Yeah. One more thing, DM. Do I recognize the last name anywhere? I'm still trying to get a read on this too.
It's Massoff is just kind of like a.
I'll just say out loud, out of
Generic
character, Massock is specifically it's a taken name that he took when he became a monk. So.
Okay, so it's just a regular plain name. I'm still just trying to get a handle on this guy. But anyways, okay, thank you. I enjoy my meal, and in 25 minutes, I'll take him where he needs to go.
Let's jump down to Clover, who's been pretty quiet while all of this has happened in front of her. It was a very unusually quiet day, and then suddenly there's this half elf and this little kid who's talking to him, and this giant dragonborn, and then this monk of Immator, is just your take is kind of cartoonish. Like they choose to suffer so others don't, and it's kind of like you know it is kind of like a joke, but this person Severin seems relatively sincere. What are you doing? What are you thinking?
Yes, the person who's interesting me the most is the Dragonborn. You know, even though I've traveled, I probably still haven't seen many of his kind. And I think it'd be a fascinating tattooing challenge, so I fly
How do
over.
you tattoo on scales?
We need to know for science.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, like, does he shed his skin? Is he going to have to get tattooed once a month?
So very specifically, if you want to know that information, anyone who is curious can roll me an Arcana check, because I do have lore about that for my dragons and dragonborns.
I'm gonna let the people who are more magical than me figure that shit out.
I am looking within myself. Can I be tattooed?
I live on the number 7 tonight.
Look at that.
Zath, you see the little tattooist fly over to the dragonborn, and you're like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. Wait, what's gonna happen? I have no idea. Clover, you're like, I think I think I can do it. Zasha, you're like 100%. If I talk to this little fairy and tell her how to tattoo me, I'm 100% positive I could do it. Because as Clover's talking, you're all having these thoughts in your heads. So go ahead, Clover, talk.
Hello there, sir. Sorry to interrupt your meal, but, I just haven't met many Dragonborn, and it's just so great to see your face, and I hold out my hand for him to shake it.
I think seeing this 2-foot pixie here, and amongst all the larger people, you'll see Zasha just absolutely unexpectedly and a little creepily light up, like his face just goes bright, and he looks at Clover and is like, "Oh, well, hello, welcome to Aelorim. Pleasure to meet you, little one." And I'll hand up 2 fingers because I know my hand is so much bigger to shake a hand. And I'll just shake your hand.
Your 2 fingers are still too big, and you quickly switch to 1 upon realizing it, and you make you think for a second, like, wait, did that Dragonborn just blush? Wait, hold on, Dragonborn's blush?
And I made a hard sight, and he failed.
Zasha, what is your alignment?
My alignment, let me double check here, is neutral good, I believe. Alignment. Sorry,
Okay.
1 sec.
Loading alignment.
I did not expect an alignment check, although I should.
So your character
I'm
sheet
here with the pop quizzes.
yeah, your character sheet says neutral
good.
good.
Yeah.
And then what is your emotional state, so Clover can know?
I think emotional state, when you first grabbed his hand would probably be you would have got the little residual of stress of his day, but then seeing somebody so small just absolutely lights him up. Like he is absolutely ingratiated in meeting you, learning about.
Could I make either a nature or arcana check to know what she just did?
I'll let you choose which one you want to make.
They're the same. They're the same mod. It doesn't really matter.
Well. I'm gonna tell you. Regardless of that, it's gonna be a tough check because this is an innate ability.
I understood. I'm just wondering if. Nope.
That would be a no.
Nope.
You're like, fairy, adorable.
Fairy touched a dragon. It's a thing that just happened. That's all I know.
It's like one of those felt puzzles you can paint that is all like 3D and under black lights. For those of us that are old enough.
Yeah.
All right, but let's pop over to Lucian, who's been relatively quiet and unable to interact with everything. What is Lucian thinking about everything that just happened? He's also never seen a Dragonborn before.
Yeah, I'm quite curious about him, but generally speaking, the nature of what I do kind of dictates a certain degree of discretion. So I'm playing my cards very, very close to the chest. And
Why don't you roll me a quick intelligence check, Lucian?
All right.
And you know what? First session. Let's go with advantage for this.
Oh, okay.
I'm feeling pretty generous right now.
DM inspiration.
Oh,
Definitely
and he
needs
thanks
it.
you.
Roll it again.
He thanks you for it.
Jesus.
Oh no!
Oh, so the
That's
3
your
was the
second
better
nat one
roll.
of the night.
All right. Lucian, typically when you deal with the city guard, it's a bad thing. And very much so, you're sitting here going, how do I be here and not get arrested? Because everything you've ever done that could get you in trouble is playing through your mind, even though it has zero relevance to anyone in this room. You're like, oh my god, I've done blah, 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 blah. Panic, panic, panic. What's your response?
Like I said, I mean, playing it cool has been my bread and butter. So I've had to have that kind of detachment beaten into me, literally in some cases. So at this point, I'm just observing. I'm gonna see where this is going. Because, I mean, yeah, seeing a Dragonborn is interesting and kind of cool, seeing as I've never seen one before. But a fairy, a monk of Ilmater, it's all... Those are interesting as well.
You're sitting there having this inner monologue of like, I want to be cool, just play it cool, you played it cool before, you know what you're doing, you're doing your typical routine, and you just notice that Vesta is just sitting there. You don't know if she's staring at you, you don't know if she's staring past you at the Dragonborn or at the fairy, but she's very much looking at least your head in your mind.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
I'm so sorry. You ever been a Dragonborn before?
No, I can't.
Can you breathe fire? Can you breathe fire? Me and him want to know. She points at you, Lucian. Can you breathe fire, Mr. Dragon?
Jesus Christ.
I think I would see that and look at her and be like, do you understand how wildly offensive that is? But I'm going to let it slide because you're an absolute sweetheart. No, I cannot breathe fire. Sorry to disappoint.
So what do you breathe?
He
Is it
breathed
lightning?
air.
Oh, wait. I can breathe smoke. Watch as I take out a cigarette and use my matches to light it up.
She very obviously face palms and goes, no, you know how some dragons breathe fire and some dragons breathe ice and some dragons breathe poison. What kind of breath weapon you got, sir? Oh, Lucian, you try to leave and she just hooks her arm around you. No, buddy, we want to know this together. I know you want to know it. Breathe. Go ahead, Mr. City Guard. Breathe whatever you breathe out into the out towards the entrance. Trust me, that the bar won't burn down. We got this. Do your lightning breath, please. Lightning breath. She encourages everyone to join. Lightning breath. But little Jimmy joins in.
And I think at this point though, he's gonna look at her, give her just this look of like almost defeat actually. But I'll take a long drag of his cigarette and then just blow the smoke out, make a little ring, and that's it. And be like, sorry to disappoint, but if you ever meet another Dragonborn, I'd sure like to see him. Maybe he could teach me a thing or two about how to do a little bit of these breath things that you're talking about. I've only ever seen that kind of thing in children's. shit.
Osler immediately jumps onto the bar and goes, "Oh, well, listen, the Dragonborn I met, he breathed lightning. He did this." And Osler just starts coughing a lung up, trying to, like, imitate, like, a dragon. Like, coughing to the point where, like, he falls over, rolls off the bar back behind it, and then there's just, like, awkward, like, "Oh my god, did he choke to death?" silence? And he pops up and goes, "And that's what the dragon did, yeah? You gotta just," and he tries to slap you in the back, Sasha, but he's so, like, out of breath, he ends up, like, knocking your beer over, and it's just whole debacle, and he ends up just falling over, and Vesta comes over and goes, I'm sorry, everybody."
At
And
this
everyone's-
point, Severin would definitely be like, okay, he's finished his meal. He's gonna look and see how finished Zasha's meal is, but regardless of how finished it is, he's gonna be, so, about that tour through the city?
And I'm gonna look at Vesta too and be like, "Is barkeep drinking on the job?"
Yes.
I think.
Listen. Osler likes to have his beverage. Dear Severin here is asking for a tour of the city. My friend Zasha, Zasha, is that correct, sir? Mr. City Guard? Am I pronouncing your name correct?
That is correct. Zasha or Mr. Beestons will do.
Absolutely. He's looking for a tour of the city. I know we've got some new compatriots. She points to Clover and Zath and Lucian, goes, why doesn't Zasha here take you on a guided tour, and as soon as Osler has his breath, he'll walk with you and talk to you about all the fun stuff, all right?
I think looking at
sounds
Vesta,
wonderful.
just realizing I got told to give all these people a city tour guide. But knowing Vesta is an absolute sweetheart, just sigh and be like, okay, I got like 2 minutes left on my break here. Are you guys finished? And as for Severin's question, my meal was done 5 minutes into your trip.
Zasha, very much so. You know you can use this quick, like, half-hour, 45-minute tour to finish off your shift and not actually have to do any work, and that's a very much relieved pressure off of you. Does any of our party object to the city tour?
I'm gonna be going that way anyway, so what the hell?
Yeah, maybe we can or at least go to the carnival at some point. I'll mention to Sasha, that's one thing I'm looking for.
I feel like I haven't fully like engaged everybody. I guess Zasha kind of. So like I do not object to the tour, but I feel like I'm gonna be just a little bit like of an extended party member here.
I think I probably would have looked at the kid you were talking to, be like, hey, Jimmy, you want to go to the carnival?
Oh, I was going to say that earlier. If I could take a moment and tell little Timmy to get the fuck out of here, because I don't need the guards knowing the faces of my little informants. Like,
oh, no. Like,
hit the bricks, Timmy.
Whatever you said the little Jimmy is gone, because once the guard stops yelling at him, he's just like, that's a Dragonborn. And just like, throughout the conversation, he goes, that's a Dragonborn. Does he breathe fire? Oh my god, they're gonna make him breathe fire? Oh, he didn't breathe fire. I'm sad. Oh, it's Dragonborn. Anything you say to him is just like gone. He is just he for the rest of the tour, little Jimmy is just glued to your side because he knows you. He said that you're holding your hand, or his hand's in your pocket, or he's holding your shirt, and he's just being like, that's Dragonborn. The entire, like, you cannot get rid of this person if you wanted to. He's glued to you. And
the
very much
downside of the Street Urchin Information Network.
Yes. But very
Happy
much
Father's
so.
Day.
Happy Father's Day. Very much so. I'm gonna just kind of take over this little city tour. Zasha, you do your best to be like, hey, this is this thing. There are some key features to Aelorim that you should be aware of. There is very much so the carnival that you can make your way to. There is the Temple of Aelorim is what it's called, and very much so this temple, what it does is it placates to whatever deity's festival or day of worship it is that day. So if, for example, it's the day of the anvil, in which we strike our anvils and give praise to Moradin, the Dwarven god, the Temple of Aelorim is the Temple of Moradin that day, and very much so whatever god or deity or festival, whatever is observed, takes place at the Temple of Aelorim, and it's like to be seen because it's the only temple in the city. They have what they call the Thor Square, and it is a auditorium at the very center is a large tower. And the way this auditorium and the tower is constructed is that 4 people can be at all the cardinal sides speaking, and very much so the people that are in front of them listening can hear only that speaker. And even if you don't want to hear, the thinkers and the mathematicians of the time going and seeing that, is kind of an oddity, because you can just walk around and be like, oh my god, there's 4 very different conversations going on, and if you're not standing in the right spot, you can't hear it at all. And it's just this oddity of nature. There is the Library of Aelorim, which is this. It's not super vast. Very much so. There was what they call the Great Purge, where old Aelorim was like, get rid of all these things humans didn't write, blah 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 blah. Even though it's like, that's the most complete history of the world we have. You want to burn it? Yes, elves wrote it. Fuck the elves. All right, you dick. And so very much so, it's this like very sad and kind of homely library, because you're like, oh, I would have thought, oh, there's nothing here because old Aelorim was a dick and burned everything, and humans, like, some of them wrote stuff, but some of them didn't care. There's the Great Training Yard, where the city guard and very much so the king guard do their daily exercises and routines, and it's very much kind of like how the King's Guard in England is a show. The training grounds is kind of like a show where, like, yeah, they do the same thing. And it's very orchestrated and to the point, but like, if you get in the way, they're gonna kick you and arrest you and whatnot. Beyond that, there is the Center Keep of Aelorim and the Market District, where they have this grand and somewhat confusing market where you can buy wheat and silk and feathers and magical items, and there's smiths and whatnot, and it's kind of the place where, like, if you want to find something, it's here, but there is very much, as a city the size, there is the regular market, and there is very much this is where Osler would be like, appear nowhere, and you gotta understand that in the underside of the city there is the dark market, we call it, and it's where you can find all kinds of secret things. It's where us adventurers go. But if you give me a silver coin, I'll tell you for a silver coin. Silver coin? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, excellent. You don't even give him the silver coin. He's so excited to share this information. There is under Aelorim, this is where Oster will explain, there's a vast network of tunnels and sewers and just natural works of the earth that if you don't know where you're going, you can very much get lost. But there is a very vibrant and alive market down there, because the king may know about it, but that's where the rich got rich, and that's where you can find those secret items. That's where you can buy information. That's the place to be. But as Oster tells you, it's a price to get in, and the price per person is very different. So you gotta know somebody, you gotta do something. It's a mystery, and he wiggles his fingers in your face as he says this for like 30 seconds. Mystery. All right, that's all I know about the city, and he just walks off. And I think that is a excellent point to end our first session.
Yeah. So, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We had some technical difficulties, but I do feel like there were less people drinking for my tech issues than there were for very much so. So I'm gonna take that as a win. Everybody, if you guys want to go ahead and sign off, say goodbye to the crowd.
Oh, no.
Thanks for everybody.
Thanks for coming by the stream, y'all. Have a good night, chat. We love you. Bailey, take some Advil, drink some water before you go to bed.
Please drink water, chat.
Drink some damn water, chat. Like, for show. I do want to go ahead and say, please join us next week for episode 2, titled, and I don't have it in front of me, but I know you're the one who wrote the title, Joe. So what's episode 2 going to be titled?
The Festival Begins.
The Festival Begins. So tune in next week for the beginning of the Festival of the Maiden.
And don't forget to tune in on Wednesday or Tuesday night either.
Yes,
Yeah, Tuesday
tune
night
in
for Cyber
Tuesday
Night.
night for Cyber Nights, our flagship show.
Where I don't say very much so.
Where he doesn't say very much so.
At
I
least
had to
not
do one more.
You had to give him one more. Did that give us around 30, I think? No, you need one more. One more for 30. Just make it a round number really quick. Come on, Joe. Just say it one more time.
No.
No,
No.
not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. All
I'm
right.
the DM tonight. I'm gonna say no.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, chat.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Gang.
Thanks for coming out, chat.